Yo, what's up, guys? It's your man I Do It Barber, and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. And in this one, we're doing the mid-ball fade, and this guy's hair is very tricky. The reason I say that is because his hair is very coarse. I wouldn't say very dense, but very coarse. So you'll get to see me navigate this canvas and show you some little tricks that I do and little problems area that you can look out for when dealing with something like this. So I've got my envies with the lever open, just creating that guide around his head, and now I'm using my 4-0 to bald him out. If you guys are curious about any of the products I use in this video, links will be to all of that stuff in the description below, to my Amazon affiliate links. There's also a shop Amazon link if you want to buy anything off Amazon, help a brother out initiative, you know what I mean? But I'm using my shaver now to get this extra bald. So when people have very coarse hair, very dense hair, like, you really want to get in there and use a shaver or the razor just to create that next transition, because you can see it right there. You could see that transition. Yes, I did bald that out with the 4-0. I could even use a 5-0. Would have got a little bit closer, but you still would see a transition there. This transition that you're seeing right there wouldn't happen if I would just bald him out with a trimmer or 5-0. So now I'm using my trimmer and I'm just buffing out that shaver line just to create a smooth transition, because now you saw the steps, right? So you saw from shaver to 4-0, but now I've got to bridge the gap, and that's what I'm doing here with my trimmer. My trimmers are set up properly, so it's as easy money. But if you have some sort of problem, if your trimmers cannot get that out, just simply follow the general rule. What you used to put it in with, you put it out with. But let me also say this. There's a full length tutorial to this. So if you want to see the full haircut tutorial and more things that were involved in this haircut tutorial in depth, go check that out by all means. And you actually get to see the edge up, because in this video, you will not be seeing me do the edge up. But I've got the 2-blade on, and I'm just taking down the hair first. I didn't want to go berserker style and just come in here and hacksaw Jim Duggan his hair off. I want to take it down slowly. So 2-blade first, then I'm going to switch to the 1.5 and then slowly take it down, because especially in the crown area, you got to be especially careful. And that's just a little tidbit of advice for you guys. If you're doing someone's hair, cutting it with a grain or a waver in the crown, you may want to go up either half size or a full size higher and work your way through the crown and navigate that way, rather than leaving a hole in someone's crown. So now 1.5, obviously, and you can see hair is coming off. You can see the difference there. So you can only imagine if I would have just went in straight away with the 1.5 with the grain, would have been a lot more aggressive, a lot less room for error. So, you know, if you just want to be careful, try it that way. And me personally, I like taking down hair step by step, bit by bit, because, you know, the consequences aren't as dire. So you see there, hair's even. Now lever is fully open on my MBs, and I'm creating a really good 1-inch guideline. You could argue and say that's 1.25, 1.5, whatever you want to call it, I'm using it. So I'm doing a couple passes just to make sure that guideline area is clean, and that's what you want to do when you're creating that guidelines. Make sure all the hair is taken down evenly before you move in to start blending, and that's what I'm doing here. Lever halfway open, going right underneath, going about halfway to 3/4 up into that guideline, and you should see the bottom line lighten. And with hair like his that's really thick, especially if you want the blend to stretch, because if you don't, it could look like a chili bowl. So you want to spread the blend out, and that's why I created such a big guideline, so I could stretch the blend out and really get a nice contrast on the fade. So now the lever is almost closed, and as you can see, the bottom line is almost gone. It's a pretty easy process. Like I said, each client's different. Some clients, you have to, they'll make you work for it, and it's not their fault, it's just their hair. Just is what it is. You know, they'll just make you work a little bit more for it. So now you'll see me still buffering, boom, boom, boom. And now I'm just using the corners. Lever's fully closed. I'm using a lot of the corners. Some parts I'm using the entire blade, but it's all by eye and what I'm seeing his hair do and how his hair is reacting to certain things. So this is one thing you need to remember. Use your eye. Your eye will help you. The more you cut hair, the better you become at cutting hair. These things you will be able to see it more. So now I'm just tidying up extra little portions through there, because before I move on, I want to make sure this area is nice and tidy first, because if it isn't, once I move on, all of the flaws will expose themselves. So as you see there, boom, boom, ready for the 1.5 blade. And I'm going up another inch, or if you want to call it, 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, whatever. But I'm going up and I'm coming back around, making sure all of the hair is cut evenly and making sure all the hair is cut before we go into our next step. So I brushed it down. You see there, the guideline, easy. Half guard, lever open, going up into that guideline pretty high. You see the bottom line there lighting right there through his temporal area. But as we go to the back, different story, because that hair back there is thicker, more coarse and dense. So, you know, got to work a little bit more. This is one thing as barbers you have to come to expect. But in the full-length tutorial, you actually get to see a lot of this. You actually get to hear me talk about a lot of it. And I will leave a link in the description to that video below. If not, if you're lazy for that, go check out the tutorial. It's in the playlist. So now the lever is halfway closed and I'm going up right underneath where I left off. So now you can see in the back there, you could start to see that line start to erase now. Now you see, I'm gonna point out an area to you a little bit later, but as you see there, lever's closed. Not much work in the temporal area because those areas are really easy. Now this area that I'm working in, I just circled it. That area had to go up a little bit higher. So you see, I went up a lot higher there. Didn't really change the lever, just went up higher because there's a little indentation in his head. And most people have them right there as they transition to the back where the hair, or not the hair, but the head indents and it creates a shadow and it appears that it's dark. So I had to go up higher to erase that dark spot. May sound strange, may sound odd, but that's how it is. Just like the occipital bone, you have to sometimes go up a little bit higher than you would have on another area, but that's just that area of the head. And I'm doing the same thing on the other side. I had to do the same thing on the other side, and it just is what it is, guys. The more you cut hair, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So now I have the 2 blade. So now I'm going to take this into his parietal ridge, and I'm going to use this to connect the 1.5 with the grain to the shorter hair. So as you see, there's still a line that's left there, and that was left with the 1.5. So general rule, if you know it, drop it in the comments below. But you know how the story goes. So I'm just following all the way around his parietal ridge, and we're getting ready to prep ourselves for the 1.5. So now that that's done, it's time to remove that weight. Using the corners of the 1.5, just tapping any of those areas that I see, and I'm just tapping. Now in some areas you'll still see there be a little bit of a line, but that is easy because, hey, if you know what I should do there, drop it in the comments below. Drop the blade that I should use to erase that in the comments below. And that's the whole purpose of this video, so you can learn. When you watch this stuff, and if you've cut enough hair and you know a lot about the process or whatever, you should know what I will do next. And as you saw, I put on the half with the lever open because that's where I left off. What I'd use underneath my 1.5 is a half with the lever open. And that's all I use to erase that there. So it's all your steps, guys. Like if you see something, you put something on, doesn't work, try the next blade under. If that doesn't work, try the next blade under. And then the lower you get, make sure you start using corners more. But now I'm just tidying up everything, just finishing up the haircut, using the scissors, got that hair on his ear. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of the haircut, if this was helpful for you guys. I hope it was. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and all that fun stuff. I've got more of these videos coming, and I'm excited to show you guys like interesting hard haircuts. These aren't the perfect model haircuts. As you saw, like on the left side, he has some pimple scars that left dark spots in the fade, but these are real work clients. So this has been your man, I Do It, signing out. I'll holler.